and I feel something touch my arm. It's the white lady, and she says, "Have you done this before?" So you often hear me talking about racism and racists that we've had to deal with discrimination, prejudice, but you haven't heard me talk a lot about some of the great white people I've met along the way and others. But today I want to tell you about this white lady who whose kindness disarmed me, and I wasn't even in the mood to talk. I wasn't in the mood for conversation. I did not want to engage with her, interact with her, but the way she approached me and interacted with me was, it disarmed me and was so refreshing. And as someone who has a PhD in intercultural competence, I know what it takes in order to build great relationships across culture and ethnicity and things like that. But you're not always in the mood to be the bigger person. You're not always in the mood to have to always be the host and not the guest. You're not always in the mood to be the only one or the first one smiling or saying hello. It gets exhausting, actually. And so sometimes you just keep to yourself because you're not in the mood to teach, you're not in the mood to engage, you're not in the mood to put into practice all of the stuff you know. Sometimes you just want to be left alone. And so I was in that space on my way to Italy with my wife. We were at the airport on our way to Italy to celebrate our anniversary. And while I'm in line, I see this. My wife is at the currency exchange trying to get some money and exchange some money, convert some currencies and all that stuff. So I said, I'm going to go get in line and wait for, I'll get us a spot in line so this line doesn't get too long. I walk to the line. The line's already long. This flight is huge because the zones 1 through 4, the line has to be like 300 people deep. And I'm at the back of the 300. And so I'm in the back of the line and I see this white lady and her, I think it's her husband, walk up. They're older, I'd say 70s, maybe 70s, late 60s, gray hair. But either way, I'm not in the mood to talk. I'm not in the mood to engage. I'm not in the mood to have a conversation. I just want to get on this flight and get to Italy and enjoy this trip. Man, lady comes behind me and I feel something touch my arm. And I look, and it's the white lady, and she says, "Have you done this before?" And I'm trying to be as short as possible. No. I just said no. I don't want to talk. But she's so kind. She's so open. She's so friendly. She's so warm that it was disarming, and she was being too kind to be ignored or dismissed. And so what was crazy is her energy made me feel better and lifted my spirits, and it made me actually want to talk to her. And so she and I end up having a great conversation. Her husband joins in, and they're going to celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary somewhere. They're going on a cruise or something. We are having the most amazing conversation. And then my wife comes up and she joins the conversation, and we're all laughing and having a good time and telling jokes and just bonding over being parents and empty nesting and all of this stuff, and getting their insight and wisdom on how to navigate the empty nest. But what's my point? This lady reminded me that the beginning of all relationships is openness, the ability to welcome people into your presence so that they feel safe and secure. I think I've been so frustrated by the microaggressions of white racists, of negative energy in predominantly white spaces, that sometimes I'm just not in the mood to interact with people because you don't know what kind of person you're gonna get. And so I'm like, I've just had too many experiences lately. I think the current administration and person in office right now in the president's office has emboldened some people, has made some people feel more bold and free to be racist and disrespectful and condescending and ignorant, and it's just, especially in the South, but maybe other places too. And so I'm just like, man, I'm not always in the mood to be the bigger person. I'm not always in the mood to be teaching. I'm not always in the mood to confront racism. I'm not always in the mood to be the person who has to address the negativity that's going on around me. but sometimes I have to in order to teach someone a lesson or model for my children how to stand up for themselves. But this lady was so kind and so refreshingly kind. And she was a reminder that there are so many wonderful, great white people out there that that aren't trying to hurt you or harm you or underestimate you or dismiss you or disrespect you. And I know that, but it's just nice to be around them when they're being kind. And I don't know who these people voted for. They could have very well voted for the person in office right now. But she reminded me that the vast majority of Americans I've interacted with are kind. In small town America, all over the Midwest and the South and the Northeast and the Northwest, I've been in predominantly white spaces where they're almost completely red states, red areas, but the people were kind and the people were respectful and the people were welcoming to me and my family and my team. So I believe that there are a lot more good people than there are bad people in the world. The worst of us have some good in us, and the best of us have some bad in us. So it's not an oversimplification, but in general, I just believe that there are a lot more good people in the world than bad people overall. But the media makes it seem like we are so divided. And don't get me wrong, there are real divisions, but when it comes to one-on-one interactions, man, I've had great interactions with a lot more white people than negative interactions. But lately, it's just been harder to find those people, and it's just been getting more frustrating, even more lonely when it comes to interacting across cultures and races. So I'm like, okay, but this lady's openness, this lady's kindness, this lady's warmth just was so refreshing to me. And so, as a reminder for anyone out there, openness is the ability to welcome people into your presence so that they feel safe and secure. This lady made me feel safe. She made me feel secure. She didn't make me feel defensive. She didn't do anything to make me, she didn't do anything to create distance. If anything, she used her kindness and even a soft touch on my left arm to reduce the distance between us. And I really appreciated that. Okay, and I normally don't even like people touching me without my permission, but she was just so kind that it affected my spirit in a positive way. And so, if you're one of those people, man, who if you're seeking to connect with someone that you don't know, and especially if they don't share your ethnicity or your race, um, openness can go a long way in terms of reducing the distance between you two, and openness by just saying hello with a nice tone, with a positive facial expression, with a gentle touch on the shoulder. And sometimes even culturally you want to be careful with that, but from my experience, man, that gentle touch can soften you in so many ways, and it humanizes people in a way that other things don't. So I share that with you to just say that was a great experience I had, and I'm grateful for that lady. I hope that helps, hope that encourages someone, and hope you like and subscribe to this channel, because I plan to just keep sharing more of my experiences, more of my perspective, more of my stories about life through my eyes and my perspective, in order to add value to yours in some way, shape, or form. All right, I'm your friend, Dr. Manny Scott. I thank you for watching. I'll check in with you later.